China is spinning a full-size SUV in a complete circle without moving forward, without backing up, and without a single point of contact leaving the ground more than a few inches away from where it started. Watch the tires. Two sides are turning in opposite directions at the exact same moment. The result looks less like driving and more like a machine doing a pirouette. That's not a trick of editing. It's real, and it's changing what people think an SUV is even capable of. For most of automotive history, turning a vehicle meant a wide, sweeping arc. You needed space, a parking lot, a driveway, a three-point turn if you got it wrong. That basic limitation hasn't changed much in over a century of car design. But a new generation of electric vehicles is quietly throwing that rulebook out, and one of the companies pushing hardest on this idea is Exeed. Exeed is the premium arm of Chery, one of China's largest automakers and, notably, the country's top exporter of vehicles. While Chery built its reputation for affordable, high-volume cars sold across dozens of countries, Exeed was created to do something different, compete at the luxury end with more advanced technology, sharper design, and features that used to be the exclusive territory of European flagship brands. It's part of a broader pattern in China's auto industry, legacy manufacturers spinning off premium sub-brands to prove they can play at the top tier, not just the budget one. So how does the turning actually work? Picture a tank. Tanks don't have steering wheels that turn the tracks. They rotate by driving the tracks on one side forward, while the tracks on the other side move backward. The vehicle pivots around its own center. Exeed's SUV borrows that exact idea, just swapping tracks for wheels. Underneath the body sit independent electric motors, one for each wheel. That's the key detail. A conventional car has one engine sending power through a single set of gears to all four wheels together. This SUV doesn't work that way. Each wheel has its own motor, which means each wheel can be commanded to do something completely different from the wheel next to it. Spin the left side wheels backward while the right side wheels spin forward, and the car doesn't move in any direction. It rotates in place, almost like it's standing on a turntable. That's the maneuver often called a tank turn, and once you understand the mechanics, it stops looking like magic and starts looking like clever engineering. Why would anyone need a car to do this? Think about the tightest parking structure you've ever been in, or a narrow alley with barely enough room to open your car door, let alone turn around. In situations like that, a vehicle that can rotate near its own footprint doesn't need the usual maneuvering space. It solves a very real, very common problem. Modern SUVs have gotten bigger, but modern cities haven't gotten any roomier. There's also an off-road case. On a tight trail boxed in by rocks or trees, a normal three-point turn might not be physically possible. Being able to pivot the vehicle without rolling forward or backward at all can be the difference between finishing the trail and reversing for half a mile. And that's really the more important story. Not one SUV that can spin in a circle, but the fact that a Chinese brand most Western audiences have barely heard of is now matching and in some cases pairing with even more ambitious features than the biggest luxury names in the world. Exeed's flagship model doesn't stop at the tank turn. It's been shown with rear hinge doors that open like a vault, an interior oxygen system, and seats that physically rotate to face each other. A decade ago, describing a Chinese SUV this way would have sounded far-fetched. Today, it's simply a spec sheet. That shift didn't happen by accident. Over the past 10 years, China has poured extraordinary resources into electric vehicle development, not just building cars, but building the entire supply chain underneath them. It controls a dominant share of global battery production. It manufactures the raw materials that go into those batteries at a scale no other country comes close to. and it's applied the same relentless iteration speed that transformed its smartphone and electronics industries to cars. Rapid prototyping, fast software updates, and a willingness to put experimental features into production models rather than leaving them as concept car curiosities. That's a big part of why many industry analysts now describe China not as a fast follower in electric vehicles, but as a genuine leader. It's not just about EV sales volume, though China does sell more electric vehicles than anywhere else on Earth. It's about the pace of innovation. Features that Western luxury brands unveil as flashy one-off demonstrations are showing up in Chinese production vehicles within a similar time frame, often at a fraction of the price. That last point tends to bump up against a common misconception. Many people still assume Chinese cars are cheap in every sense of the word, poorly built, behind on technology, safe to ignore. That reputation made sense 15 or 20 years ago. It doesn't hold up well against a vehicle that can rotate on its own axis using independently controlled electric motors, features solid-state battery development, and packs in luxury details rivaling six-figure European SUVs. The label hasn't caught up to the product. None of this means the tank turn is a feature you'll use every day. Realistically, most drivers will try it once, film it for social media, and rarely need it again in daily life. Some critics have even called the whole category more of a party trick than a practical upgrade. But that slightly misses the point. The tank turn isn't really the destination. It's a visible demonstration of a much bigger underlying capability. That a car's four wheels no longer have to move as one dumb connected unit. They can think and act independently. And once you have that kind of granular control, dozens of other possibilities open up. Tighter parking, better traction on uneven terrain, smarter stability control, maneuvers nobody has thought to name yet. So the next time you see a video of an SUV spinning in place like it's on a turntable, don't just think of it as a stunt. Think of it as a signal that the walls between affordable and advanced in the auto industry are coming down fast, and that a lot of the engineering setting the pace right now isn't coming out of Germany, Japan, or the United States. It's coming out of China. The real question isn't whether more cars will be able to do this in 5 years. They almost certainly will. The real question is what else becomes possible once every wheel on your car has a mind of its own, and which country gets there first.